Hey everyone, welcome. We'll just give everyone time to join. Welcome people, we're just giving everyone time to join. Welcome to Hyperspace on X. Hey Ethan, you good?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. Can you hear me?
No, I'm trying to get, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulty on my end because my screen is saying that my microphone, I can toggle the mic, but it's saying that I'm a listener still. So I'm gonna try to drop out of the space and come back into it.
No, leave it as is. It's just the UI. 'Cause you're shown as a speaker, so you're all good.
Okay, now, but so I don't know if I know my mic is on now because you can obviously hear me, but I don't know if I press the button, if it's off or not. I can't really tell because of the UI
Okay,
issue.
yeah. All
Yeah.
right, I'll get
So
started, Ethan, and
okay.
you come back in.
Okay.
Okay, everyone, welcome to Hyperspace on X. It's 9 p.m. UTC, Friday 21st. And to start with today's show, for those who are brand new to Hypercycle, what are we? We are the network infrastructure for the Internet of AI. So we have our Hypercycle network node factories, and these are available to anyone, no matter what your technical capabilities are. You can set one up if you want further information on how to do that. Head over to our highlights. There's a hyper guide. It's a step by step on how to do it via the DApp. What does it do? Well, for companies that want to utilize your Hypercycle Network Node factory, they can gain intelligence for for their AI, or they can open up new revenue streams. So a couple of examples of that, we've recently done a partnership with a YMCA global charity, and they will be using it for a multi-agent app to facilitate young people. And the AI agents they'll be utilizing will be gaining intelligence. Um, so that's on the intelligence side of things as opposed to the sort of revenue. And then another one is the game company, and they'll be using it to reduce their compute costs by up to 90%. And as I said, it's open to anyone to participate in the global AI economy, which, as we can see, is expanding uh, exponentially at the moment. I'll just bring Ethan back in. One moment. I see our high performance edge computing Dale is here. Welcome. Whilst we're waiting for Ethan to come online, do you want to tell us a little bit about your recent partnership? I guess not at this time. Hey Ethan, a lot of the team can't be with us here today, Ethan. They've got side jobs. Some of them might be able to jump in later. But the subject matter I wanted to jump onto first is all about. We've just had Grok 3 released, and I know you've been testing it. Um, I'll say my thoughts on it first, and then I'll hear from you, Ethan, what you think. Um, a lot of compute power went in to get there. It's fast. I don't doubt that, and the race between these large language models really has heated up. Um, I think every week now we're getting one claiming that they're now the fastest. Um, Grok 3 spent billions and billions to get where they are. My opinion is it's not feasible. Throwing all this compute power at something so it can be the top dog for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then something else is going to come along, throwing even more compute power, billions of dollars at it to get there. I think a multi-agent system, is the way forward with the availability of multiple agents communicating and collaborating to get where they are. And I think P2P, peer-to-peer, decentralized without third parties, it's not only the morally better way to achieve higher intelligence in AI and artificial general intelligence, but to me, it's the more economical way to get there as well. It's just more beneficial. As humans, we've succeeded by working together, building societies, um, communicating, collaborating. But most of our best work has come from this. And it just makes sense to me that intelligence, AI intelligence, would achieve it the same way. Ethan, what's your opinion on it, and how have you found Grok 3?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, man. I mean, I've been, like you said, I've been playing around with it. It is extremely intelligent. In fact, and I don't want to go into too much detail. It kind of disturbed me a little bit mentally, and I had to take a little break, and hence why I haven't really been on or posting in the last few days. Um, it really is scary smart. So my thoughts on it is just like while ChatGPT had the head start, if you want to think of the AI race as a literal race, ChatGPT had the head start. It's already lapped everybody on the track, but Grok 3 is just getting started, but it showed up on a motorcycle. And so the lap that GPT has ahead of everybody else is quickly getting eaten into by Grok 3 on a motorcycle, basically, because of the amount, like you said earlier, the amount of compute power that is behind it. So that's starting to prove to be like a winning strategy in the AI races, like having that level of compute. And Elon has said that he wants to add even more compute power to it. So yeah, I think that we're going to see where, I mean, I think that maybe within a month, we might see one of the other frontier models, take a small lead again. But I think with Elon's next move or the XAI team's next move, we're going to see Grok just create a lead that just cannot be overtaken unless we do something like what we're doing here at Hypercycle, right? Where we decentralize the resources. And if we could ever solve for decentralized training, AI training on a decentralized network, we could then have the compute power. We could crowdsource the compute power that could rival what XAI has. Um, and also we could crowdsource the algorithms as well, right? That could be clever, right? So we saw that with DeepSeek. So DeepSeek didn't have the compute power, but they had some clever design to their thing that allowed it to compete. So if we could crowdsource more clever ways of um, uh, building these AIs, and we could crowdsource compute on a decentralized network and have um, all of this under some sort of like coherent training, decentralized, then I think that we could have a really good situation, and the decentralized community could actually win this. Um, I see that HPEC has their hand up, so I'm gonna let them go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I think that I'm sorry that I was not able to speak a little bit earlier. But yeah, hi, Ethan. I think that is very important what you're mentioning, and it's quite powerful once that you have a group of community like understanding and expanding and being able to bring these different AI models and understanding the different capabilities of them to start bringing wealth generation, to utilities based on this hyper appliance and these different AI services that can help any company that was basically or that is built, I don't know, back in the 80s or in the 90s. They all will require AI services. So something that we are focusing also here in our DAO, which is quite cool, and exploring this on Cardano, is that over time, imagine that these node factories are going to keep on expanding, and we have people like from all different ages. So something that we really wanted to focus on is on the automatization of these node factories so that the wealth generation of them can be distributed into any basically policy ID, over time. Like really leave this to the technology, let the node factories do the work, let the technology and the smart contracts do the distribution of the wealth generation, and obviously help everyone and help Hypercycle to bring more developers to start building on top of Hypercycle. So that's something that we really are going to be focusing on, like with the partnership that we have with Flux Point Studios, which they built kind of like a chat GPT, but this is a LLM expert on UTXO model, Bitcoin, Cardano, and gaming, okay? So I believe that the next generations are going to be everything like, imagine Argentina, all these different people and countries that they need to start getting involved with this technology and start building. So there's a lot of people, developers, huge communities that they want to start building, to start solving problems. And they just lack of two things, maybe like money, a little bit of help, and a place where they can start training their AI models, right? A place where they can train, test, and over time to be able to plug them in a decentralized way, maybe between communities. So yeah, I just wanted to add that you're correct. Doing and deploying node factories in a decentralized way with communities, and using the power of blockchain is something very powerful. And being able to help people around the world and also developers so that they can start creating their own models, and so that we can put these AI models on top of the node factory so that they can expand faster. Like that's something that we should really be focusing on, like building more aims for everyone, because in the end of the day, this helps each and every one of us and of any Hypercycle node owner, so that they can also get their AI, their node factories to start doing some work for them to split faster, and also to start exploring different opportunities. So it's all about really like the win-win situation, creating opportunities, onboarding more developers and companies to start testing this. So it's very exciting. And hi to Mia, I see you there, and congrats.
Hey, so expanding on that, if we were to, we know Hypercycle is interoperable, and we've started to see, obviously, the DAO they're working with Cardano and now Flux Point Studios. Before anyone runs away, we haven't got a partnership with Cardano. It's the brilliant thing about decentralization. We can use what Cardano's building. They can use what we're building. And this is one of the brilliant things. We're also, we know that Hypercycle isn't just for blockchain companies. It isn't just for open source AI. It's for every AI. It's interoperable. I'll put this to Ethan Amadeo if anyone wants to answer this. Can you envision a scenario where a small AI company, whether it's Web3 or traditional, utilizes Hypercycle and does gain intelligence and is able to offer things at an advanced level. Can you envision a future where the big tech companies, OpenAI, Google, Grok, etc., and so you've got Meta Llama as well, who I think is going to be a big player, they start to come to our side, they start to realize that working together is the way forward, not because of the massive change in their moral compass, but more because they have no choice. If they want to compete and they want to excel, they need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I mean, this is a classic can't beat them, join them scenario. So here's the thing. We're coming from a world where everything's been centralized. The big players, they have all the money, right? They have all the computers, the hardware, servers, whatever you want to call it. But through all human history, collaboration has been, a key to success. So for example, if you were the local strongman, people figured out after a while, if you take 50 weak men, they could all dog pile into the strong man and they would win. And that's essentially what we're doing with decentralization, right? Is we are using the power of the crowdsourcing. Uh, and I think that despite them having billions of dollars, Google has billions of dollars, Amazon has billions of dollars, right? And a ton of computers. We, the people of the world, because remember, Hypercycle is not something that's just in America, right? This is a global effort. We, the people of the world, collectively, we have more money, we have more computers, and it's just a matter of coordinating this and getting it on the scale. And I think that we'll hit a critical point. There will be a point where it's like we are rivaling them, and we're gaining traction where they go, hey, this is trending the wrong way for us. We have to join them. And so we will inherit all of their resources as well into our network. And again, this is just a net win for everybody. So yeah, I do think that there's going to come a time and point where the writing's going to be on the wall. They're going to realize can't beat them, join them. And yeah, I think that we do have the winning strategy. I think that the beginning phase is very critical. It's critical for us to get traction, right? So I think that everybody in this room right now, we need to be out in our daily lives and spreading awareness about decentralization, about Hypercycle. Because you never know when you are the spark that leads to a massive fire, essentially. So yeah, talk to everybody that you know about it, about joining, educating people about Hypercycle. And yeah, that'll just get us there faster.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And in talking about the gaining traction, I know that Project C8, there's a lot of people, when's that starting? When's that starting? Project C8 is not just one thing. It's not just a series of technical enhancements. Although that for anyone who's a Node Factory owner now or is imminently about to be, that's obviously a big thing because you're going to get those technical enhancements. The Aimifier, Quantum M, I know there was some questions around that. Unfortunately, Toofy's not here. I did ask him. He says a lot of that is private at this moment, but it's not far away from being revealed. So I am looking forward to that. But going back to the point, Project C8 is about that as well, traction. It's going to have an education course. And the idea behind this is empowering people globally. If you go onto the website, it's not a finished project yet, hypercycle.ai. It's still got more pages to go on there, so keep going to the website and checking regularly. But if you go onto it now, you'll see a section, become an educator. And education is one of the biggest tools that we're going to be using at Hypercycle. so we can build this robust, decentralized network of people who can educate people, and from one person sprouts four, and then from four, eight. And the idea behind this is that we have this this network of operators, people operating node factories, assigning it to hardware, choosing which AI developers to onboard, and this robust network of AI developers building on Hypercycle, because this is the next stage now. We're sort of rounding up the UI on the underlying technology so that me and you people can utilize it simply, but it's now about getting it spread and getting it out there to everyone. So I'm glad you talked about that, Ethan, because that is one of the most important things. And it isn't just Hypercycle that can do that. It is everyone here. I know that the DAO is one of their strengths is constantly just spreading the word, telling everyone, and Ethan as well. They're constantly spreading word, and this is important. We've just recently started becoming active on the Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok accounts. So if you're not following them, follow them, share, like. Even just the little things are important in getting it out there. And unless, is there anything else anyone wants to touch upon on this subject, or should I move on? We're good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're pretty much good. I want to just reiterate that everybody here is a potential agent for change. You never know when you're going to get a meeting with somebody who is part of a major organization, and you pique their interest on it, and they look into it further, and as a result, they lead to more work and revenue for all of us here in the space as node owners. Again, somebody could land a really big organization to join the network, and that can mean more revenue for everybody. So I think, it's the most intelligent strategy forward is everybody, all hands on deck in evangelizing and spreading awareness about what we're doing here.
Yeah, and going from there, the next topic I did want to touch upon is the intrinsic value of a node factory, and I think it's more relevant than ever at the moment. We've seen just today, Bybit, I believe, had a big hack. Everyone, and if you didn't, then you're probably lying. If you're someone who's been in crypto a long time, everyone was assuming that we'd be in full flow bull run at the moment. And I'm looking at my portfolio, and unless you're in Bitcoin, it's just not materialized at the moment. And we've the crypto community. We're very quick to point the finger at the centralized systems and traditional business. But I think it's prudent to acknowledge that there's a lot of bad actors in crypto at the moment too, who are exploiting decentralization for their own gain. There's a lot of outright gambling. I think there's something like 26,000 tokens, thousands and thousands of memes. Everyone's just jumping sort of from one ship to the next. We've had, I think, is it Libra, which looks like a rug pull. And I know the Hypercycle token itself, and I don't want to get into a price discussion for many reasons, some of them legal related, but the Hypercycle token itself is suffering pullbacks as well. But that's not where the value lies with Hypercycle. What you have, if you've set up a node factory and it's tilling now on mainnet, you have a business, you have something that people are going to want, and it's coming. We're currently developing so that you can move a node factory as one entity rather than having to connect your license and tokens yourself. And this is quite important for the onboarding of new people to the space, and also from onboarding people that aren't into crypto at the moment, rather than having to go to the DApp and deal with decentralized exchanges, being able to purchase the node factory as a whole is very important. And obviously, part of Project C8, having those license upgrades on there is very important. But if you have that now, that node factory today, not a year from now, not 2 years from now, today it has intrinsic value because it has the capability to facilitate AI to AI communication and collaboration on a decentralized network. And for those like the DAO who are in the closed alpha, this isn't theory, they'll have seen this firsthand, this being done. And it's that use case, that intrinsic value that, and I'm not saying Hypercycle is the only project out there. There is other ones who also have products that are building intrinsic value. But the Hypercycle node factory has that intrinsic value where you don't have to worry about external market forces, making a speech and driving its value down. You don't have to worry about bad actors and whatnot. It's an investment in a business. It's an investment in your future, and it's an investment in everyone's future. Ethan, is there anything you want to add to that? Do you think I'm?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to touch on a little bit what you spoke briefly on about bad actors in the space, if that's all right with you. Hello?
Hello. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, is that okay to speak on that just briefly?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, yeah. So I always tell my friends this when it comes to this whole space, not specifically about hypercycle, but just the entirety of the space, is that I believe we are in our generation's gold rush. Now, for people who don't know American history, we did have a gold rush here. We have a football team called the San Francisco 49ers for a reason, because in not 1949, but 1849, people were rushing towards California to try to find gold. Whenever you have something new and there's hysteria around it, con men and bad actors tend to flock to those spaces because whenever something is new, whether it's a new dance or whatever it is that comes out, there's confusion around it. Because it's new, it inherently comes with confusion. Just like how some people may feel, hey, there's confusion, whatever projects they're involved in, right? And this is breeding grounds for con men, because a lot of people want to play on top of your confusion. So I would imagine during the 1849 gold rush, there were people probably selling fake maps. There were people, who just stayed back on the East Coast here and sold shovels and picks, right, and got rich that way. But for the people who did take on the risk of journeying out west to go find gold and make a better life for themselves, some of those people did not make it. They drowned in the Mississippi River along the way. Some people got bit by a rattlesnake out in the woods and died of rattlesnake poison. But for the people who made that arduous journey, right, drained by traveling 3,000 miles across the country, and then once they got there to California, still had the energy to dig, and they found gold, right? And some people who dug, they didn't even find gold after that. But the people who dug and they found gold, the upside, the amount of riches that they received, you cannot get that through any traditional system. And that's the risk when you move out into a area like we're in the crypto space or whatever you want to call it. We are in the digital Wild West. And there are going to be a lot of things out there. So I think that the best strategy forward, as we all move forward with this, is to move forward together. I think that's the winning strategy here. So that's why I'm always in the groups, and I'm always inviting people to use their brains, use your brain power, put in your 2 cents, do your research, right? Because along the way, we're going to have to pivot. We're going to be moving through this digital wilderness. We're going to see some, I don't know, maybe there's a Native American tribe over there through the woods who they don't look too friendly right now towards us. And we might need to start going, slightly north for a little bit, in order to get around and so we can continue west towards the goal. So we need all hands on deck. We have to have patience as well. We have to be able to pivot, allow ourselves the ability to like I said, pivot. Um, and yeah, everybody should just be doing their homework. This is not the traditional systems that we all grew up in, where the news and the government tells you what to do. The blockchain is a democratizing technology, right? This is our opportunity for everybody to have a voice. So there are things that maybe Tufi hasn't even thought about, and they could use your suggestion or your advice on something. So just again, you just have to know that you have some say so in this, and I just encourage everybody to participate as much as possible. Do your research, participate, add to the conversation, and the more of us there is, I think that is a winning strategy in this digital Wild West.
Yeah, that's a brilliant talk, Ethan, and some history knowledge as well there for those of us who aren't from the USA. Liken it to the gold rush, I think, is apt for both worlds we're currently operating in, because the AI is like that as well. The race for higher intelligence and artificial general intelligence, that's become a gold rush, where everybody's just throwing everything they can at it to get there. And it goes back to the very first point we were making at the start. It's the collaborative effort that is going to win. It's what made humans. It got us to the top, and it is what will take AI, artificial intelligence, to the next level, to that general intelligence, and maybe one day super intelligence. On that note, I'll bring it down to the current state of Hypercycle. Where are we at? It's February. In the terms of HTS, that's working. You can subscribe to the tilling service. However, it's going through some further upgrades just to make it better to scale, because obviously it's one thing onboarding thousands. It needs to be capable to subscribe millions of nodes. As we know, one node, even a single licensed node factory, will become 1,024 nodes over time. So you can imagine how much it needs to scale. So that's the work that's currently taking place on HTS. And in conjunction with that is the other features of the DApp, the Explorer. So you'll be able to monitor everything that is happening with your node factory. And this is a really key ingredient to being an operator of your node factory, being able to monitor the stats. How is it performing on the hardware you've chosen? How is your AI module performing? We also are working on fostering competitive marketplaces for operators, hardware providers, and AI models. And that brings us back to Project C8 and the education program, and just developing the tools so everyone who has a node factory, no matter your technical experience, has the tools they need to be as successful as they can be. And so that is the primary focus. In terms of when Project C8 will officially start, I don't think there is an official start date. I think it's more a case of at some point there will be an announcement for the first technical enhancement, whether that be Aimifier or Quantum M. And from there will probably be a time frame, quite a healthy one, whereby you will need to set your node factory up before that deadline to ensure that you get the full benefits of that. And it will really add a lot of value. If you imagine one of the biggest wealth generations of your node factory is the ability for your your single license, to become 1,024 nodes. Now imagine you then get Aimifier, which is one license. Well, now you get 1,024 licenses for that as well, for all of your nodes in your node factory. So the value there is immense. And in terms of, I know there's been a lot of questions around Hyper-Y and what does it mean. I can't give what it means at this time exactly to every single node factory owner out there. I know we had a bit of fun sort of speculating on numbers and whatnot in the Telegram chats, but from a technical viewpoint, it's brilliant because it's this sandbox for what we're building as a whole, really, this multi-agent system and a UI system. And this will take me on to our final subject, which is positioning Hypercycle for the home of builders. Because what YMCA is doing, building this multi-agent app that will be able to draw on multiple agents to give everyone in their offices, the young people, what they need from AI in one place, isn't exclusive to YMCA. Any developer will be able to build a similar thing on Hypercycle. They won't have to build all their own agents for this. They could collaborate with other AI developers, other agents, to build these multi-front sort of shop apps. And so we want people, I know we've got the bitmap community, we've got some of them starting to put build here, and obviously we've got a very strong presence from Cardano community. I have a couple of friends in the base community, and they're sort of interested now. Base has done wonders making it simple to build AI agents, and it's like, hey, not only can you build a simple AI agent, but you can put it on the internet of AI, and you can connect it with other AI agents, and whatever ideas you have that could help people, you can make them a reality. And so we want to be that network for multi-agents and make it as simple as possible for everyone. Ethan, have you got anything on the builder side of it? How do you foresee the on the builder side,
Yeah.
how that evolving?
Well, I could just say this. I'm personally looking forward to the 999 program. I'm looking forward to getting educated. Um, I'm not so probably to some people's surprise, I'm not a super technical guy. I'm kind of learning as I go. And I've seen a lot of people like, kind of almost complain really when they heard about the 999 program. They're like, oh, they're expecting more of us. I'm like, actually, if you have a node factory, you'll be credited a class, right? And whatever you learn at that class is with you for life. This is an opportunity to add not only value to your node, but add value to yourself. Um, I'm excited about getting educated about this and learning more about this. And here's another little secret I'll let you in on is that we spoke on Grok 3 earlier. Grok 3 is super duper intelligent. Anything that you think is going to be a hurdle in your way to learning this stuff, I'm pretty sure if you just use Grok 3, it'll explain things to you so much more simply. Like as you're going through your 999 program, if there's something you're not understanding, I'm sure Grok 3 can help smooth out that learning curve for you. Like, I don't think this thing is going to be as big of a hurdle as people think. People are just having knee-jerk reactions and freaking out. And it's like, no, let's use the tools that are there, like Grok 3, like ChatGPT. It's probably going to be pretty easy. And I think that it'll get to the point where these AIs will be building other AIs. Like Grok 3 can build video games, right? For example, it can already do that. Like you can go from nothing to a video game in like an arcade game in like 10 minutes or something, right? Um, so you may be able to, in the future, you may be able to take Grok 3, have it build you another AI model, right? Or give you the components you need to build an AI model with, and deploy your own AI model on your own nodes. And then you'll have the AI developer percentage of the revenue share on top of all the other things that you've contributed. It's like the tools are all coming together to make this a very good situation for everybody. instead of freaking out, again, we need to be looking for the opportunities here, and we need to be sharing these with one another. We need to be evangelizing, because the more brain power we can pull in with other people joining, the more that we encourage people to come up and speak and share what they think or what they know or what they've been researching, the better position that all of us can be in. So that's all I really have to say about that.
Thank you, Ethan. I will just say, not only Grok 3, I think there's other play. I know you're loving it at the moment, and it is fast. It is very fast. There is other players in the field. I've been playing with the one that's just come out of France, Le Chat. It's in a rudimentary stage, but that's looking like it's going to start really making waves as well. And obviously, we all know about DeepSeek and the stir that caused. I'm just going to go through some questions I had before the Xspace started, and obviously there's one that's just come on the Telegram chat from Rob, which means you are listening, Rob. So you are welcome to come up and ask, but I'll just go over it here anyway. So elaborate more on this decision to create the factories for us. Is this an attempt to take backdoor control of floating token supply? No, it's I'll make clear, basically, the ability to move a node factory as a whole is vital. It's something that everybody needs. It's vital for several reasons, really. Obviously, at an individual level, you may just want to move the location of it. So where it is in your wallet, you may want to move the node factory to a different wallet. It's vital if you wanted to sell your business down the line. Obviously, if you've had a name running on it and you've got X amount of revenue and you want to sell the business as a whole entity, well, you can't have a situation where you break it down and put it back together. And in terms of Hypercycle for us, it's something that I think is very important for Hypercycle in this. As I said, we're not just looking to break into blockchain markets. We are for everyone. We are interoperable, and it's just a much simpler onboarding process if you can distribute these node factories as a whole entity, rather than having to say, right, well, you need to get the licenses here, you need to get the HYPC there, you need to trade the HYPC for F, and then you need to go on our DApp and you need to connect them. This is a much cheaper, simpler onboarding, and I think that's why it's so important that we have this ability to move a node factory as one entity. And so, yeah, I hope that's answered the question, Rob, in terms of that. Oh, one more, how will you get the HYPC? So the node factories, obviously anyone would be able to move a node factory as a whole. The HYPC, I suppose it depends. If we had an AI client, a large one, that said, we're interested, we want X amount of master nodes for operations, then we would have, then the HYPC would have to be sourced the only way it can be sourced, which is either from our existing or on markets. There's no it's in smart contracts. There's no way there's no way to work around that. The node factory will always require 1024 CYHYPC per single license, and so you would need to convert the placeholder to the CHYPC to initiate that process. That can't change. That's as I said, that's in smart contracts. I did have a question about Quantum M. Unfortunately, Toothy isn't here. I wouldn't be able to answer that question. I did ask him. He said a lot of it's private. I know when he's in front of people, either it's on an Xspace or whatnot, he does tend to reveal a little more. So when we next get him on here, I will happily ask that question again. But I also know that's not a million years away from being answered. The other question I had was about, it was aims splitting. So it was about the node splits, and then could you assign new aims to those new nodes? And I believe the answer is yes. I see no reason why you can't do that. there's a lot of questions around how will HTS work when your node splits. So now you've got two, you then have to go through that process again. The HTS model at the moment is in its infancy, and that will evolve when compute starts. Obviously, it will have to be adapted. Running an AI model on hardware is a lot more intensive, so we can't really give an answer to that exactly. But yeah, it's evolving at the moment as we speak for HDS. But so on the side of nodes, yes, when they split, you can now have a whole new complete node that you can do as you wish. You can unload any AIM onto it. And in terms of how that will work for subscription hardware, etc., this will be covered by the operator course and the feature updates as they roll out. Do we have anyone who wants to ask any questions live on the space here? No? Okay, I'll think then. Ethan, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, so you mentioned quantum M, and again, there's nothing official that has been put out. But if I could just speculate to some degree for a brief moment, all of this stuff is mainly about communication, right? When you're talking about blockchains, when you're talking about nodes, it's about communication. And if anybody has spent an iota of time looking at quantum technology, quantum computers, the rise of quantum computers threaten traditional blockchain systems, such as Bitcoin or whatever, Ethereum. Um, I mean, if I had to speculate on what quantum M is going to mean, it's probably going to provide some sort of extra layer of security, essentially, that may be quantum resistant. And again, this is pure speculation, not an official stance of Hypercycle. I've not had a conversation with Tufi, so don't take this and run. This is all speculative, and we're just having fun. But if I had to speculate, I would say that it's something to do with security, and there may be transactions that may be very sensitive, and those people would maybe even pay a premium to make sure that the nodes handling their transactions are super secure. And if you have a quantum resistant security on your nodes, that makes your nodes more valuable. So I think that's where the quantum machine may come into play. There will be all sorts of nodes. All of these nodes, they won't be equals, right? Some of them will have the aim of fire ability or whatever, and stuff that's dropped in Project C8, right? On these nodes that other people's nodes who come in later, they're not going to have all these things unless they buy them separately and add them to their nodes. We're going to get in a situation where, this again, nodes have different capabilities. So some nodes will have the QM, maybe others may not have that QM in there. And that will give you a marketplace advantage where some customers will want to use that. Again, if a bank is utilizing nodes, it wants the top level security. It wants the latest, greatest security because you're dealing with sensitive information, financial transactions, or if a hospital is utilizing nodes, you're dealing with sensitive stuff. I mean, medical information. You're going to want the latest and greatest in security. So the nodes that may have those features or offer that greatest security is going to be where they go to. So, again, that's just me speculating on the situation. So, yeah, I just wanted to add that and just to get people thinking about this. When people complain and say, well, what? Now they're adding this. They're talking about a quantum machine. Why are they pivoting? Why are they doing? It's like, no, value is being added, and this is all optional. You don't have to do that. You can come in there with your regular node, right? Base level node with none of the additives on it, and try to carve your way out, in the market with that. So again, it's all up to you, your level of involvement. How many features are added to your nodes. It's going to be a highly customizable situation as to how you run your business.
Yeah, it's an interesting take, the quantum M being a security feature. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Because whenever I think of quantum, I just think of these speeds, these lightning speeds. But it could well be a security aspect as well that's driven to make that decision. And there was I put a YouTube video up the other day. If I can see it now, I'll give you his name. If not, I'll post it again. I'll send it to anyone who requests. But he talked about Hypercycle sort of halfway through his video, and about its benefit to stopping. He called it AI poisoning, so corruption of the AI as it's traveling across the network and communicating with other AI agents. And he had quite a bit to say about how Hypercycle could prevent that, which he foresees as being a big problem in the future world of AI. And I imagine, I know the team is very talented at Hypercycle, the engineering team. I imagine there's things that they've thought of that aren't an issue now per se, but could be 1, 2, 3 years from here in the world of AI. So I guess it's about getting the node factory ready for any eventuality, and everyone who's been early with us from the beginning having that those enhanced features so we can maximize the benefit of their node factory. It's been a great space, everyone. Unless anyone else has anything to add, I will call it. I'll just give it a moment to see if anyone.
Does
requests.
anybody have any questions or anything they want to add or any perspective they want to add? And again, we just want to make this space as inviting as possible. Like, don't feel like any question is too dumb or anything like that. Is no such thing. We want everybody to, be able to come up and speak. And so just if you want, this is the time to come up and add.
Last one we had Tufi on, and there were several questions. Maybe they want the answers from Tufi, not us, Ethan. It's probably wise.
That
It's
might be a
probably wise.
possibility.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Ethan's 100%. Everyone's welcome to come up and talk. This isn't exclusive to any one individual. It's everyone's Xspace. And on that note, the next one is Monday, the 3rd of March, 9 p.m. UTC. If you have any questions, any topics that we haven't covered, send them to me. It's Andonis on the TG groups. A lot of you follow me on X. Oh, I've got one last minute request.
On-time data, go ahead. Hello, on-time data.
Okay, hello?
Hey, how are you?
Another beautiful day, Ethan. Hypercycle team, it's a pleasure. I actually just wanted to come on this space and just get a little bit more information on the Flux Studios partnership. Because when I saw that, doing more research, and then in regards to the AI agent that they currently have that's on the Cardano blockchain, Talos, I just wanted to see if maybe you guys could elaborate more on that, like the partnership with Hypercycle.
I know a little bit about it. I do know that Joe was speaking earlier. I don't know if they can speak, then you're welcome to come up. From my understanding, Flux Studios have obviously built Talos Agent, and that's now running on the, I think he's got a H2 box or a H1 box, I'm not sure, but it's running bare metal on that. And I have to be careful here because I'm not sure what is public knowledge about. Oh, Dave's come up. Let them. Yeah, I don't want to get myself in trouble. What can you tell us about that high performance edge computer?
Hello there. Yeah, so it's very interesting what FluxPoint Studios has been developing. They are a company. Nathaniel is the developer behind it. He's focusing on, as I mentioned, on gaming, and which they already have a big game called Thrive, but they are also exploring on AI and navigating deeply on blockchain and also in LLMs based on the Cardivia that they have launched. So in the beginning, Nathaniel, obviously, when he launched his AI model, which is based on ELISA framework, And the ELISA framework gives you different capabilities for you to explore on top of your Hyper AI box. This AI model gives you the capabilities to have your own AI, for it to have his own autonomy, kind of like his own wallet, connected to Twitter, different things. And obviously, it depends on how many APIs you start plugging into your AI model. So over time, you're going to see a lot of different aims that starts getting out there. Something very cool that FluxPoint Studios has, and it's why we made a strategic partnership with them, is they already are providing AI services to different companies on Cardano. So this is why it was very interesting for us, and it just made sense for us to give FluxPoint Studios 10 Hyper AI box nodes so that we can learn over time. Because inside of our DAO, we want multiple things. One of them was to be able to distribute the wealth generation of the more than 400 node factories that we have inside of our DAO, but also to for it to be kind of automated, for our DAO to not delegate this responsibility to someone, but to give this responsibility maybe to an AI model based on smart contracts for him to do everything. So on this partnership, which is very cool, Nathaniel, his company FluxPoint Studios, is going to be focusing on creating AI models over time. And inside of our DAO, we just wanted to, as Ethan mentions, we also saw this gold rush that evolved. Myself as a Bitcoin miner, when I saw Hypercycle, what he was doing, it threw me back to the 2007s or 8s when there was the hash wars. You had to be very fast to start getting a lot of GPUs and be among the ones who had a lot of hash power to be able to process all this information, So right now what's going to be happening is that imagine that FluxPoint Studios already has different clients that require different computational processes, which means that Nathaniel needs to delegate different amount of nodes, or like in this case, imagine that we can delegate different Hyper AI boxes to different clients, So it was kind of a win-win situation, because in the end of the day, our nodes are going to be able to really do computation, which this will reduce the amount of time that the node factories makes their splits from 18 months, most probably to 6 months. And all this data, obviously, is the goal that we were looking for. We really want to have as much data as possible, so that in the near future, we can go to any client and see him right to the face and like really explain and break down on the life of the node factory, how much time does it take, the different AI models that there are out there, how much do they produce, what companies can you help with these different AI services. So yeah, that it's very interesting. Over time, I believe that FluxPoint Studios, they also are cooking in behind the Amy fire and some cool stuff that will be announced a little bit later. That's why FluxPoint Studios now is advisor of Hyper Appliance. And yeah, we have a very good company with knowledge on aims, and it's very good to have them inside of the Hypercycle team to help us expand this faster, So yeah, I don't know if this answers the question, or if you have any other question a little bit more.
No, outstanding. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for all that information. And then so basically, we're going to be able to aim our node factories to, right, their Talos.
So wait, so that's the thing. In the beginning, obviously, we need to first understand about like what is this capacity, because obviously the first thing that Nathaniel and we did was like, okay, so Nathaniel as a Hyper AI box node runner was like, okay, my AI model, I need to put it on top of the H1 or H2 boxes, which is what he did. But now, like, imagine if there is a company that requires a bigger process, you know? So now the idea will be like, how can we mount these models on top of the node factories that are over Hyper PG, you know? And yeah, once we learn from this, obviously, I believe that Nathaniel will be opening this possibility for everyone who has a node factory to be able to connect their own Talos, because that's what they want. The thing is that, remember that Talos is only an AI, it's basically a LISA framework, you know? So what's gonna happen is that different companies around the world, they all will want to have their own Talos, but based on different things for them to do different stuff, you know? So yeah, these hyper appliances are the key to be able to you have your own AI model for it to make your own whatever processes you're trying to do or accomplish, or if not, only join a marketplace economy of different AI models that are going to exist for you to plug in and for you to start learning and expanding over time. But yeah, FluxPoint Studios is on Cardano. It's something very cool because it basically helps any Hypercycle owner to expand the possibilities of their node factories. So yeah, this is, I believe, one of the most important. And from there, it's just learning, you know, learning on the different models that he wants to sell, and us in the other side of the telescope, obviously learning all the data about the node factories, on how much time do they take to split, how much do they produce, what is wealth generation, what does that looks like, and all of this. And obviously the idea is to share all this information so that everyone can know. And over time, create more services for everyone.
100%. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you for that. And I think that touches upon what I was saying earlier about HyperY. And you have all these things. So I get asked, well, what's happening in closed alpha? What's what's that all about? And the work that the DAO is doing at the moment, the work that's happening over at HyperPG, which is its own entity, the work that's happening with the home portal neuron hyper appliance, the work that's happening on Node Market. These are all stepping stones. So when we have more clients, etc., and these marketplaces start going out, and they want to see data, or want to see this, or they want to know what's the best way to build out. We have that work that's happened today, that's happening now, laying the pathway for this future. So I think it goes back to we had, I think 2024 we can dub the year of when compute, and I think 2025 is, we're now starting to see it was never this big bang moment of just, well, one day we turn it on and that's it, we have compute and everything's going. It's the work that everyone, not just our engineers, but FluxPoint Studios and HyperY team and Node Market and High Performance Edge DAO and HyperPG, it's the work that they're doing, laying the pathway, and it's growing. There's more coming in, and obviously we've got the game company as well, which they're going to be sort of testing and seeing, looking to reduce compute costs for people gaming. So I think that's a great answer, and I think it sort of helps everyone get a clearer understanding of what's happening in 2025 to get to where we want to be, which is these robust marketplaces of lots and lots of aims. If you've got a node factory, you want there to be lots and lots of aims out there, and lots and lots of operators, lots of hardware providers. You know, the Internet of AI, this huge entity, this global brain, as Tufia refers to it often. So thank you for that. Is there anyone else who'd like to add to that, or has it opened up any further questions? No. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. And for those who listen to the recording afterwards, thank you for tuning in and listening. We'll be back 3rd of March, 9 p.m. UTC. That's a Monday. And I'll speak to you all then. Take care, everyone.